Testing, testing. Welcome, y'all. Welcome. 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 Welcome to the live. You do not have to be shy. You are more than welcome to engage. You're entitled to your own opinion. Okay. I know a lot of people, they might not like this live stream, and that is just perfectly fine with me. Today we're gonna be getting the truth out. So I just want to let y'all know. That's the reason why we can't unite as a people. That's exactly why. He said, disrespectful comments will get you removed expeditiously. Yes, it will. Stay on topic. All right? Because what? This Chicago ninja. That's exactly why we can't unite, man. Because we look at it like that. Yeah. It's Chicago. And I just want to let y'all know something else. Another reason why we can't unite.
A deadly Labor Day weekend in Chicago as President Trump continues to set his eye on the city, threatening to send in the National Guard.
This is just going to prove my point that Black unity is dead, bro. This is going to prove my point. So just stick with me.
As early as this week, at least 52 people have been shot in Chicago over the Labor Day weekend. 7 of those victims died.
The violence included 3 mass shootings that happened at Haddon in California, in Chicago's Humboldt Park neighborhood, and 2 in Chicago's Bronzeville neighborhood, 35th and State and 36th in Cottage Grove. ABC 7's Jasmine Miner talked to people in Bronzeville about concerns about 2 mass shootings happening within 48 hours.
Many here in Bronzeville describe the neighborhood as on the come up, and they say they're not going to let the violence stop the positive work they're doing. For one woman, that means keeping kids healthy, active, and on the field.
First of all, let me tell y'all something. Oh, wait, hold on. I just need to hear what she said. Wait a second.
We're going to push through because it disservices the kids.
Alexis Hawthorne, owner of the top-tier university football youth program, says even gun violence won't keep her from serving kids in need. Their practice comes just a few hours and down the road from a mass shooting early this morning. 5 people were shot near 36th and Cottage Grove near Ellis Park, including a 17-year-old who is in critical condition.
At the end of the day, to have one person that was critically injured and 4 folks in the hospital, whatever the situation was, it was senseless.
It is the second mass shooting in Bronzeville in the last 48 hours. The other happened on Saturday night near 35th and State, where 7 people were hurt during a drive-by. Those like Alderman Pat Howell are taking action, telling ABC 7 in a statement, "I have long asked for additional police manpower to deal with large illegal gatherings and pop-up parties that routinely occur throughout the Bronzeville neighborhood." It follows Mayor Brendan Johnson signing an executive order this week to avoid the Trump administration from sending the National Guard into the streets of Chicago.
Us as people, we can come together and fix it on our own. We don't need no one to come here and, wreck shack our community.
Others think the troops could help.
I got kids, and I want to see the community better. I run every day out here. I exercise out here. So for the street to be safer, I think it's really good.
But Hawthorne says her football program does just that. Teaching kids a healthier way to have fun.
We're going to do whatever it takes to make sure that these kids have somewhere to come.
Alderman Lamont Robinson tells ABC7 that Chicago police do have one person in custody from the shooting this morning.
Wow, guys.
The Chicago nigga.
First and foremost, let me tell you something. Bronzeville. Let me turn this off. Ooh, that devil is busy, ain't he? He trying to shut me up. First of all, let me tell you something. Bronzeville, the Bronzeville community, which is not too far from where Barack Obama used to live. Bronzeville is a I just gotta be 100 with y'all. I gotta be 100 with y'all. I got to. Out of all of the communities in the city of Chicago, if you ask me, Bronzeville has to be one of the worst communities. And you wouldn't even think that it would be this bad as a community because it's a beautiful community to live in. It got a lot of historic homes and a lot of um inventors from way, way, way back when they used to live in these homes and stuff. And it's a very beautiful community. It is like, for anybody that believes in BLM and Black Lives Matter, it is a Black Lives Matter as community, okay? Like a lot of black folks, that lives in Bronzeville. Bronzeville is a really big community. And and it's beautiful. It's right off the lakefront. You can see the Chicago skyline. It's beautiful. But the biggest problem is the people. It is the people. It is the people. Bronzeville has a community filled up with young teenagers, children of all different ages, and it's just a bad community. Even the adults that live in the Bronzeville community is bad. Believe me when I tell you, because I've been in the area, I visited the area, I stayed in the area before. Like it's a bad area. Honestly, if you ask me, the gang stalking activity within the Bronzeville community is at an all-time high. When I tell you, like, the hatred from your own your own community of black folks is crazy. Like, I've lived in the trenches, you know what I'm saying? So I lived in the trenches. I know how it feels to live in those areas. And you would think those areas would be extremely bad, like, which it does get really bad. But still, people will still mind their own business. They don't worry about chores. They don't try to start conflict with you for no apparent reason. Bronzeville is one of those communities where you literally will have to watch your back every second, every minute that you step outside your door. And it's not the white man, and it's not the white people, and it's not any other culture but us. Seriously. We can't even we can't even be at the park in peace because we're always trying to start conflict with one another. We can't shop in the same area as one another because we always find a reason to start some type of chaos between each other. We can't even go to the restaurants in peace. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And you would think, being that the Chicago police headquarters is right in the heart of the Bronzeville community, that the crime would stop. You would think that, right? You would think, you know, being that this is a very well-known area, a lot of, well-known people come through that area, things like that. You would think that everybody would have it all together, right? You would think, yeah, black power, black unity, Black Lives Matter. It don't go down like that in Bronzeville. It is straight up hatred. The minute that you, because it's so many, what people don't even understand is that within the Bronzeville community, it is so many different low income homes. Like they have a lot of low income buildings, in the same exact vicinity as one another. And you got, and when I'm telling you, you got people that come from different backgrounds that moves into the low income community. You got out of towners, people that don't know nothing about Chicago, and then you got people that has lived in the Cabrini Greens before, the Robert Taylors, stuff like that, and they all come together and they live in this, in this building. People from all different types of areas, from the Hundreds, from 79th, and that's the war right there. Because the problem is, it's not about what gang you a part of, it's about what hood you from, what buildings you grew up in, who your people knew, who they people knew. It's all about that. We start a way to cause conflict with one another. We look down on each other, you know things like that. But the Bronzeville community, the sickening part about it, y'all, that I really dislike, is the fact that when you go up King Drive, you can see all of the beautiful, nice, huge, big historic homes. King Drive is beautiful when you driving up and down King Drive, you know. And then if you go further down, you will be able to see McCormick Place. On the other side, you got the Chicago Police Headquarters. And then if you go back where the numbers is going up, and if you go far enough, you will be on O Block. You will be in O Block. But the Bronzeville neighborhood, like on King Drive, is beautiful. And then when you cut through the neighborhood to go down some of the side streets, it's beautiful, right? And then in the same vicinity, you have these big low income communities at the same time. Like people that's on Section 8, low income, is mixed in with the middle class people and the upper class black people at the same time. So it looks really crazy. All of us is bunched up in one. And honestly, if you ask me, that's how it is in most of these Chicago neighborhoods. You got these certain blocks where it's like beautiful homes, nice big beautiful homes, and then when you go to the next block, you got low income buildings and stuff like that. So they just literally bunch us up together, and they put us around each other, knowing that people came from different backgrounds and stuff like that. But it's sad that we can't get along. It's sad. Oh, he misspelled that. Yeah, he misspelled that. He was supposed to put unity. Okay. What's up, P1? Yeah, that's what we meant. Black unity. Hubby, can you please redo that title again? Thank you for pointing that out. Content. Appreciate you for pointing that out. So yeah, we're talking about black unity being dead. And first of all, being that I was born and raised in Chicago, lived in Chicago my whole life, still live in Chicago. I know what it's like. I know about the crime. I know that first and foremost, we just want to say Brandon Johnson, Governor Pritzker, we do not approve of your message. Okay? Well, I don't, because you guys are getting up there and you're lying. And I'm going to explain why Chicago is a prime example that black unity is pretty much dead. And hell, you can disagree with me if you want to. There we go. You can disagree with me if you want to, but please be respectful. If you have your own opinions, everybody is entitled to their own opinion. I just ask that you remain respectful at the same time, because I'm not going to disrespect you. I'm not going to call you out your name. I'm not going to, say anything negative towards you. Being born and raised from Chicago, grew up on the west side of Chicago, very treacherous part of town to live, and then transitioning on over to the south side, which is another treacherous. See, the south side of Chicago is full of hate. See, what it is literally is full of hate. Everybody's in this competition. Nobody wants to be themselves. Everybody wants to be like this person and that person. Everybody thinks that they're savages and stuff like that. So growing up on the south side of Chicago was very tough. I'm from all across the city of Chicago. I've been in different parts of the city of Chicago, and I'm not going to name them, but I can honestly say that since we're speaking about Bronzeville, Bronzeville is, you wouldn't even think that it would be such a hateful neighborhood. But if you get an opportunity to live over there, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. The minute that you step foot outside your door, you have to deal with people that wants to challenge you. People and it's crazy because they be strangers. You just minding your business and they're strangers to you. You're a stranger to them. But for some odd reason, they just, in that Bronzeville community, everybody is just up for the challenge, even when they don't know you. So explain to me, how can there be black unity when we have black on black crime being glorified, and then it is okay for us to dislike one another? That is normalized. That is perfectly fine. You know, what's up, Dawson? I just, I don't get it. I don't get it. And then most of the, you know, people that's into it with each other, most of them are from the Bronzeville community. Most of them are. And I just want to know, like, if there's black unity, and if we gonna ever unite as a people, why is it that we can't go into our own community and go shopping in peace? Why is it that every time we step foot inside of a grocery store or inside of a store, we gotta worry about being attacked by our own brother or sister? But they scream Black Lives Matter, right? Black Lives Matter, black unity. We gotta come together as a black people, but yet and still we always find a way to disconnect with one another. We always find a way to become extremely negative towards each other and chaotic for no apparent reason, you know? And it's crazy because they most black people be so possessed that even when you try to make things right with them and try to make the conversation shift, because you could really have it's crazy how at once upon a time you would be able to really have a conversation with another black person, man or woman. You can actually sit and have a conversation. Now they got to a point where there's literally no communication there whatsoever. But even when you try to talk to them about something, they always try to figure out a way how to maneuver around a positive conversation and turn it into like a battle. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. I'm trying to explain it the best way that I can. But they always try to figure out some sort of way to turn it. And I'm not talking about all black people. So if you get offended by this message, then I mean, that's on you. Take it how you want it. But the problem is we can't even properly communicate with one another without like having some sort of conflict there. Can't even tell a person, hey, how you doing? That's a beautiful red dress on you. Because, they're just going to look at you and be like, oh, I know. You know, we can't even compliment one another. We can't even compliment one another without there being some form of hate. It used to be a point of time where you can walk up the street and y'all could compliment each other. We can compliment each other. But now it's like, you better not even look their way. But that's how it is in the Bronzeville community. It's a beautiful community, but it's just a community full of hate. And you would think, being that Bronzeville is predominantly black, you would think that black unity, you know what I'm saying? Black power. I remember once upon a time they actually had a march in the community as black people. And they were marching because they said that there were black teenagers turning up missing and stuff like that. You know, this was like back in 2018, I think. And I believe I had did the march with them. Yes, I did. I think I still got the video in my phone. This was like back in 2018. I did the march with them and everything. And it was nothing but a long, you know, big old long line of us black women, and you will see black men here and there, and we was marching together for, you know, black teens that come up missing. But I just always knew that, like, this is crazy. We never want to come together for real. We only want to march and protest when there is a tragedy, you know, that happens, or when it's beneficial to the people that organize the protest. Like anytime it's beneficial to them, then yeah, we marching, we protesting. Now let's get together. You know, people they always want to do it on their own time. They want to do it on their own time. There's never a right time, you know. And what's so sad about it is the only time that we march and we protest as black people and come together is when a white officer stands over a black man and shoot his brains out, you know, or when there is no justice in that situation whatsoever. That's the only time we come together. When there's racism towards the black community, that is the only time that we come together. I mean, we don't come together when there's black on black crime. Why is that? We don't come together. All we do is sit behind our phone screens and our computer screens and scream reparations. Reparations for what? We can't even come together as a black people. Will there ever be black unity? That's the question. People swear up and down like, oh yeah, eventually we gonna, you know, we gonna unite as a black people. But one thing that I have come to the realization of, that the Charlie Kirk situation had taught me, is the fact that a lot of black people are different. Okay. And you know, people are different. Just because the color of my skin match the color of your skin and the way that I talk is similar to the way that you talk, and my background is similar to your background, does not mean that we should just unite for that reason. It's the simple fact that black people think differently. You got black people like me and my husband with common sense, okay? You know, you got black people like me and my husband, and maybe some of you, that believe in the Most High God, that actually has compassion in their hearts, that actually felt for this young man getting killed and gunned down for speaking the truth or whatever the case may be, because we really don't know. That's the thing. But it's the fact that, you know, we are supposed to still feel something there when our enemies fall. And we are not supposed to rejoice, and we're not supposed to stand up and clap and dance and get online and yeah, that's what he get. You know what I'm saying? No, you don't have the love of God in you if you saying stuff like that. And if you ask me, majority of the black folks are doing this. So how can we unite as a black people if you think differently from me? And I'm talking about it for a good cause, because you're supposed to have this right here. You're supposed to have love in your heart. But if you don't have love in your heart, then we can't sit with each other. There is no, yeah, black unity. No, I don't want to sit around someone that has straight up hatred in their heart. I can't get with that. No. I'm going to pray for you, and I'm going to pray that you turn away from your wicked ways. Other than that, I'm not about to be fake and say, oh yeah, black unity. Meanwhile, you support the fact that, you know, Mayor Brandon Johnson is saying that we don't need no National Guards here. And you're actually supporting the fact that, you know, there is no crime here and we can clean up our own communities, but we need to come together. I need to play that clip because what she said doesn't even make any sense to me. It's like you saying to me that you you believe that no National Guard should come here, and I'm gonna get to your comment in a second because I'm trying to understand something. You said that you don't think no National Guard should come here. Meanwhile, there's crime and violence around the program that you run. Then you turn around and you say, this is how we need to come together and stuff like that. But the thing is, anytime we come around one another in the same space, we always find a way to start some sort of war with each other. We can't even shop in a grocery store around each other. We can't even go nowhere around each other because it's going to be some conflict. This is exactly why the police show up when we protest, when we march, anything pertaining to black folks, when we have these little cookouts and these parties and stuff, the police be sitting right there because they already know something is about to jump off. And they ain't wrong. They not wrong. Every time it's black people involved, it's something that's gonna happen. We have to admit that. Let's be honest. You don't see that happening all the time with white folks. Hey, I'm just telling the truth. And matter of fact, listen, I'm gonna stop saying. I'm gonna try my best to stop saying black and white folks. Okay, I'm gonna stop trying to say that because we are just a human race, literally. So, but I can honestly say with other cultures of people, you don't see as much, that crime. You don't The crime that you see in the black communities with the black on black crime. The I hate that I have to say black, but you know what I mean. Like when you come into urban communities, you see the crime, and the war is against one another. It's not against, excuse me, it's not against another race, because another race can come in our communities. They can live in our communities and we won't target them, but somehow we have to target one another. But we screaming on the internet black unity, but we screaming reparations. Make it make some sort of sense, please. Please. This lady said that we don't need the National Guards and we need to come together, but when is that going to happen? Martin Luther King said the same thing. We need to come together, right? But we need to come together as a people. But then again, you got these people talking about we need to come together as black folks. I used to say the same thing. I used to be all for, black power, black unity, you know what I'm saying? Until I had to literally live through the evil in the black communities. And it's not going on because another race is taunting us and another race is bothering us. These other races have nothing to do with us killing one another off. They don't. We do. Because we can't even control ourselves. We can't even keep ourselves under control. This is exactly why they always be calling us angry and stuff like that. Frustrated, angry, which I don't feel like it should be, I don't feel like that should be black people as a whole, because every black person, all black people ain't the same. Real talk. And you see, I am a prime example. You see, when in my own community, I literally stand out because I don't want to start a war with anybody. I don't want to go to war with nobody, man. I don't want to fight you. I don't want to try to, shoot at you. I don't want to do nothing to nobody, man. I don't mean no harm. I don't bite. Literally. I just be wanting to be left alone. You go your way, I go my way. You don't gotta stare at me. See, that's another problem in the black community, y'all. We start a war just off of simply staring at each other, staring each other down, especially the black men, and this is exactly why there is a lot of war in the black communities and a lot of crime and stuff like that, because the black men, they have an issue with constantly staring each other down. Oh yeah, let me see what he on. Let me get on there with him. Yeah, he look like he owns something. It's the problem is your mind has become corrupted to the point where you believe that he's on something, but he's really not. It's the way that he dresses and the way that he looks, and the way that he dresses and the way that he looks is just like you. He got dreadlocks just like you. He keep his hair up just like you and his pants sagging like you. But meanwhile, this young man is actually minding his own business, trying to get to it. But you believe in your man that he owns something. Yeah, let me see what he on. Yeah, yeah. And then they drive, when they drive in these vehicles, they driving with the tint on the windows. Yeah. Let me read y'all comments. Latasha, what's up? Latasha says, right. Yeah, we got so much hate built up towards one another. We hate seeing each other. We hate watching each other progress. And it be our own family and it be our own friends. One thing that I can say about us as a black culture is our culture is very cursed. Seriously. And it's really because for generations after generations after generations, these generational curses they went unnoticed. They were never acknowledged to the point where people can actually try to change it around and fix it. But the problem is people know that there is an issue within the family. They know that there were issues, but they never want to fix it. They don't want to address it. But I'm here to tell you today to fix those generational curses. Because if you don't, and see, the problem also is the grandmothers too. The black grandmothers, they want to be their daughter's best friends. They adult daughter's best friends. They want to feel like they're accepted. They want to feel like they're accepted around their friends too. Girl, bye. I'm a grandma. Shoot, I'm finna go out. I ain't got time to be watching no kids. That's the problem. And I'm not trying to say that it is the grandmother's duty to raise the child up, but I mean, you yelling out black unity and reparations, but you too busy going out with your friends. Meanwhile, your daughter having trouble over here. And I'm not saying that, as the mother, because the father need to be in the picture too. But both grandparents should always be in the picture, man. It shouldn't even be no question. Why does it even have to be a question as to who's a part of bringing this child up into the family? Why does it even have to be a question, though? If we're family, right? Like we say we are, we would be there for one another. You see this young black woman struggling with a child, baby daddy then left her hanging and stuff like that. Now she out here all by herself, lost as ever, trying to figure it out. Why would you talk down on her instead of trying to help her? But we family though. But it's black unity. But it's reparations. But it's Black Lives Matter though. But it ain't no black on black crime. It ain't no black on black hate. There's no dishonor in the black community. Make it make sense. Exactly. As a black people, we so sick of struggling that we plot on each other. Yep. Wishbone, what's up? You said Acts chapter 17, verse 26 and Romans 3:23. You said what you are talking about is clearly not genetic. Okay. Yeah, we are programmed to hate each other since birth. Facts. You say anytime you show positivity, our own people find a way to hate. I'm telling you. See, people think I'm just really talking, and I'm literally, you know what? Let me go to those Bible scriptures. Let's see. You said Acts chapter 17, verse 26. KJV, because I like King James Version. You said, it says, and hath made of one blood all nations of men for to dwell on all the face of the earth, and hath determined the times before appointed in the bounds of their habitation. And then what was the other one? Romans 3:23. For all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Right. Right. It's not, I don't believe that it's a genetic thing. I just believe that, yeah, you know, there was a problem with us, the generations after generations after generations after generations. The generations before us were the biggest issue. And the fact that, give me a second.
If you think you're
The generations before us were the biggest issue, because if you think about it, it's like they were weak-minded, and then while they were weak-minded, they had to raise up their children, and then their children had to raise up children, and it's like the question is, what is really being taught? You know what I'm saying? And honestly, if you ask me, what's being taught is hate, dishonor, and hatred. Real talk. You said another issue. Wait, hold on. I ain't see this. Too much secret hate and animosity. Facts. You said black folks clown you for having emotion. They would clown you for anything. You trying to be positive and they think that you on drugs. Literally, I'm serious. Like, I mean, the thing is, you say it's not a genetic issue, but why is it that black folks have this problem? They got this issue, you know? And I don't really know too many other cultures that has these problems. Yeah, they might have issues, but we are our own biggest enemy, for real. You said scroll up. You said black women still trying to compete with younger women. That's the problem. Facts. That's the issue in the black households as well. That's what I'm saying. It's like, you got the mother, the grandmother talking about she a grandma now. All of a sudden, yeah, I ain't watching no kids. I got things to do. Then she dressing, trying to see who got the best dress on, trying to dress with tighter pants than her daughter. Trying to compete with her daughter, getting mad. See, this is where the toxicity comes in at too, because then that's where the hatred grows. It's like once the daughter gets older and turns into an adult, now the black woman believes that she got to compete with her daughter. You know, she got to she think now she got to talk down on her daughter. I dressed better than you when I was your age. Girl, get out of here. Now you got the daughter thinking that this mama is a competition versus best friend at the same time. They drinking together, smoking together, like, meanwhile still trying to compete with one another. You said our people gatekeep knowledge and wisdom because of envy, hate, and you feel me? You, like, seriously, for real. And it's like we can literally be we can literally, if black people would get it together, if they would get it together up here, though, up here, and stop being so prideful, I'm telling you, boy, we would be strong together, for sure. We would. But the thing is, I just can't stop thinking about how we had black slave masters as well, you know? And then I look at it nowadays, and I'm like, man, we really be selling each other out. I'm telling you, like, we sell each other out. We don't stick together. But yet and still, we talking about black unity, black power, power to the people. You know, I looked in Chicago, right? I looked at the video of the ice raids or whatever. Um, and well, actually, it was outside of Chicago. I don't know why they keep saying Chicago, but it was a suburb outside of Chicago where the ice raid happened. I think this was yesterday or the day before yesterday. You didn't see. I didn't see. Maybe I'm missing something because I didn't see not one black person out there. I didn't. You know. Um. All I saw was, you know, other cultures of people. I'm gonna just say that. I didn't see not one black. You want to know why black people don't step into these certain situations? Um, because black people do have too much pride. They have too much hate. And, you know, they say stuff like, oh, well, they don't come through for us. They don't come through for us, you know, which is true. But it's like, and then the majority of the time, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's really because it's the trending thing. Anything that trends and anything that black people can follow behind, they do that. So that's why a lot of people didn't go out there because it's these trends on TikTok and these little secret videos and stuff that they be having amongst one another and sharing it amongst one another, and it just gets around and it's like, okay, now we came up with the decision that we're not about to go out there. We're not finna do nothing because this is not our fight, not our fight, not our y'all fight, not our fight. That's all they say. And it's really because they don't know that it's like they don't really know why they're saying it. They're just saying it because somebody else is saying it. And it's getting out and it's on the internet. So everyone wants to follow the latest trend. That's all it is. Because believe me, they would have been out there if that wasn't the case. Pride before the fall. Yeah. Um, you said people be getting a entire personality and political ideals off of you feel me? Look, vibranium dealer, man. This is people like this that think like us, like for real. Like you, I'm seriously. I mean, they literally do everything from TikTok, everything that they see. This is what's wrong with the black generation of people. They follow behind every trend, literally every trend. Straight followers. Barely see any leaders in the black community. The only time they leading is when they doing a protest or getting the organization together and stuff so they can go protest and march and riot and stuff like that. You know, that's the only time you see leaders. That's the only time you see any sort of leadership. When there's money involved, that's when you see leaders. Other than that, everybody is a bunch of followers, even the leaders, you know. Even the leaders, they are a bunch of followers. And everybody just want to follow the latest trend, bro. This is absurd. In the black community, it's like everybody want to be famous. Nobody has time to try to get to know themselves, to try to correct their mistakes and correct their wrongs because they feel like it's too much like right. I don't want to do that. You go do it. I'm trying to enjoy my life. Get out my face. Yeah, girl. And they get on TikTok and they go live and stuff like that. Yeah, girl. Yeah, ladies, tell me why it's one chick talking about I need to change my ways. Change? Girl, bye. I'm living my best life. Okay, no man, no kids. 45, no kids. Okay. All right. Yeah. And it's like, that's how you want to live your life? 45, single, no kids, living my best life. You want to be 45 and single with no children? That's what's wrong. That's what's wrong. Okay, so let's see. Wishbone, what's up? Says the human race started with Adam and Eve, two individuals. Many get their sense of right and wrong from their ethnic group rather than from God. Yes, that's the problem. That's the problem. We have no time to sit and try to acknowledge our wrongs like good people, like myself and my husband. We sit there and we really acknowledge that we were wrong and we correct that. Okay? It's not about, oh, I'm so sorry, because you might do it again. That's the thing. No, you just need to correct your wrongs, acknowledge that you actually are wrong, and correct your wrongs, and stop telling me you sorry. I'm tired of hearing, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry I was late. But you was late like 5 other times and you said the same as that. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. I apologize. Yeah, and then they just always got this excuse. And then majority of the time, honestly, in the black community, we never take accountability. Never take no type of accountability. Never saying that we wrong. We never feel like we wrong. We always feel like we right. And this is exactly why we always getting into it with one another. You can't tell you can't tell your brother or your sister that they wrong. Because if they even feel like they have to be wrong, then they're gonna grip something and shoot at you. You said all this is a big ass psyop, CIA kicking back, laughing at us. They yes. Said black men hate black women hate, you feel me? And that's just the thing, you know? But they don't want another culture. They don't want them another culture of a man, you know? They don't want that. You don't want to be with a black man ever again. You don't want another black man because you feel like black men ain't shit. Black men ain't this, black men ain't that. So then you have grown to hate black men, but you don't want to get together with another man that's of another ethnicity unless he got some money. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. If he got some money, then okay, money talk, BS walk. And they literally sell themselves. They go in these clubs and these bars and stuff like that. They go out of town with their girls and stuff like that, and they sell themselves to these men as long as they got money. Yeah, then you coming home, counting it up. Your baby daddy blowing your phone up. You don't want to hear that. Your baby daddy blowing your phone up. You don't want to hear that. Put your phone on silent. Next thing you know, he banging on your door. Banging on your door. Oh my God, he getting on my nerves. I'm tired of my baby daddy, girl. Like, well, you laid down with him, so I mean, now it looks like you're gonna have to deal with them. And then, the only way out of toxicity with the black women in the black community, the only way that they won't have to deal with their baby daddies is if they go run to the court system and put them on child support. Because child support is pretty much like a restraining order, if you ask me. It's pretty much a restraining order for black men to stay the hell away from their damn children and just pay up their money. You know, the black women in the black community literally has grown to hate black men. Seriously. And you know what's sad? I feel sorry for anybody that's trying to date nowadays. I mean, if you successful, man, good for you. But all I see is straight up hatred. Hatred. You know? Even when they do finally get a chance to go on dates with each other, they both are bad for each other now. Because the toxicity has been glorified for so long in the black community that they're used to the toxicity. And that's how they start off. That's how they start off, toxic. And they love it. Um, Let me see. You said that is because ain't many of us learn our lesson. People be out here 50 plus still. Yeah. And see, that's the thing though. It's never too late to learn. It's just the fact that the black community is just too stubborn to learn at 51. They feel like 51? You ain't finna tell me what to do and how old you are. It's like always about your age when it come down to them. Where everything is about your age. You can't tell them nothing. You can't tell them that they dropped their phone on the floor out their back pocket. You know what I'm saying? Because you 22 and they 67, so you can't tell them nothing. You would tell, hey, excuse me, sir, you dropped your phone and fell out your back pocket. They'll look at you like, keep walking. And it's like, okay, all right, I'm trying to tell you, dropped your phone. Like, I don't want no smoke. It's crazy because it's like also in the black community, the older folks is the problem as well. The older generation are literally the ones that want the most chaos, if you ask me. I'm serious. I'm not lying to you because I respect my elders, man. Real talk. I love old people. But I don't know what has happened over the last few years, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. Honestly, a lot of my elders started disrespecting me while I was trying to respect them. This started, I want to say, this really started back in like the early 2000s, honestly. Early 2000s. But as time goes on, it just enhances. It enhances and it gets worse. Now they out here, glam the hell out. They don't got no, they feel like, girl, bye. I'm 55. I don't got no grandkids, even though I got grandkids. Like, girl, bye. I'm not about to babysit tonight. I'm finna go out with my girls. I don't babysit kids. And it's like, damn. Then they just express how much hatred they have towards kids. And it's like, ma'am, you have 5 children. Yeah, but my kids is grown. They're adults, but they still your children. and I'm telling you, like, the stuck up shit with the older black women is crazy. Seriously. They probably looking at me right now like, girl, bad, you just jealous of us. You just hating on us. And where is your man? Do you have a man? He probably living off of you and he ain't do he got a job? And it's like, why is it always about money? See, that's the problem. It's about money with the black women. It's about money. Black power, black unity though. You know, you got the older, just like you said, the older generation of black women is trying to compete with the younger black. I literally do not want no problems, man. I don't. Every time I see an older black woman, I be wanting to compliment her. I be trying to be nice to her and stuff like that. But they just always look at me like, where is that baby? Let me see. Just extra nosy. They want to be nosy and they get upset when you don't allow them to be nosy, when you want them to, step back. I don't even know you. Hold on. They step all in your child's face and stuff. Ooh, look at that pretty baby. She's so beautiful. Grabbing on the hands and hey, excuse me. Can you please not touch my daughter respectfully? Girl, bye. And it's like, that's the problem, and then they want you to argue with them. Why? Why do older black women always want to argue? They always want to argue. They always want to fight. It's just crazy. Comments. You said, hold on. You said a dude went viral for sleeping with a woman after she admits that she got a STD. What? Um, Said the older generation are the perpetrators of this toxic cycle. Not all stems from them. Right. Facts. Yeah. You said Joshua says it is the conditioning, the church, the music and the movies, and now social media. Facts. Facts. Yes. It definitely started with the church, the church, because a lot of black folks way back when was raised up in the church. And all of that corruption that used to go on up in the church. And you got the pulpit pimps. And you got the ladies fanning themselves because they're just, feeling some sort of way about preacher. Even though he got a wife, you still want to jump in the bed with him. It was a lot of, infidelity and scandals going on up in the church. All right. And then the pastors, they get up there and they get the sweating and jumping around and preaching and hallelujah. Whole time, you and your wife having issues behind closed doors because you sleeping with a few of the members in the congregation. And then they having babies with the pastor behind closed doors and all of this crazy stuff going on up in the church. You know? It's a lot of infidelity that used to go on in the black homes back then, the father, the husband was always stepping out on the wife, or the wife doing the same thing. And then it's just been going on for generations after generations, and it's okay. It's okay. They talk about the older black women. Let me tell y'all something. True story. I ain't gonna say no names. I'm not gonna say whose story it is at this point because it's a little too personal. But yeah, true story. Older black woman in this family. She was 80 something years old. She was judging, very judgmental towards the younger black women in her family about how they keep having babies and stuff. But the truth is, that 80 something year old woman, when she was 13 years old, she started getting pregnant. And she kept having babies after babies after babies after babies. And guess what? It was by different men. And guess what? She was drinking in the bars and going home with those men the same night and having babies. You said put a one in the chat if you're black. If you're not, it's fine. I'm just trying to see something. Wait. Yeah. But and that's the problem. They judge the younger black women for having babies because it's more so like a church issue to them. Their reputation, especially if it's somebody in your family and they see that, you having babies at a young age and they are older black woman and they in their 70s and their 80s, she just keeps on opening up her legs and having babies, and it's like the audacity. When you had your first child, you was 12 years old. You was popping it, dropping it like it's hot and everything. At the age of 13, you done had 3 kids. And none of your children have the same father. Clap back. But that's the thing. They come at the younger black women, but this has been going on for generations, and it wouldn't be going on in your family if you had never started this BS. Then don't try to act like you don't glorify the fact that you got 6 different baby daddies just because you old and you all hunched over and you drinking your coffee and stuff and rocking in your seat. Stop trying to act like y'all older black women out there ain't got 6 and 7 different baby fathers. Meanwhile, y'all got the audacity to judge these other women out here. That's just the truth. And this is no disrespect to my elders. But how can you sit back and judge somebody and you the one that's been opening up your legs since what? 12 years old? At least she ain't started till she was 19. Come on now. She just needs to go and get her education, instead of having babies. The audacity. Shit. The audacity. Let's see. Let me go to the comments. Yeah, all walks of life is welcome to chime in. I don't care if you're black or not, okay? We're talking about, I know I'm using a sense of humor. Sometimes I got to use a sense of humor with this, I just be really trying to talk like how they be talking. That's how they talk. And I know some of y'all of other cultures may not know that, that's how they talk. But this is how they talk in the black community. This is what these older black women be saying. Seriously. Exactly, man. The older, you know what's crazy? When I was younger, I was introduced into Betty Boop, okay? I mean, I had all of the Betty Boop purses. Man, I had to have the Betty Boop. Betty Boop was the thing back then, but I never knew the real truth about Betty Boop. And when I found out, I said, wow, how dare you older black women introduce me to Betty Boop? That's who they act like. Seriously. Walking around with their purse hanging on their, I have my education. What about you? See, you need to get married to a man that has a lot of money and stop sleeping around with these men that's not gonna do anything for you, okay? So you telling me, hold on, you would rather open your legs to a man with a lot of money, with a career, long as he got that, you don't care if he's stepping out on you, he treats you wrong. Me and my man, we have our, problems. But he knows where home is. Oh, do he? He know for real? He know his destination? Man, I thought he got lost out here or something. Cause you ain't had no control over him. The audacity. See, they want you to get into a relationship with a man with a lot of money. If he ain't got nothing to offer, if he ain't got no money for you, he ain't got nothing for you at all. So leave that man alone. Cause he's sleeping in his grandma's basement. They don't care about what happened. They don't care about how he got there. They don't care that he had a lot of money at first and he had a career and he lost all of that and he had to start back up from square one. Starting from square, living with his mother. Uh-uh. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Cannot be me. I have 2 jobs. My man has a career and it's like they just talk. It's just straight hatred, if you ask me. Straight up hatred. And I'm going to be honest with you, it doesn't come from all black people, okay? But some of y'all may have to experience exactly what I'm talking about, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Uh, you said if you messing with a guy in grandma's basement, she better be generational wealth. For real. Wishbone said this is a very straight and narrow road that leads to eternal life, and very few are on it. And note that Christ constantly warned about the hypocrite. Yeah, but shoot, I'm gonna be honest with you. I know I ain't no hypocrite, to be honest. You said, and we need to talk about the conditioning of black women to be attracted to the worst black men in the community and be unattracted to the most productive. You know what I'm saying? They, that is so true. They are attracted to the gangbangers, to the thugs, to the, they so attracted. They love that, but if you got common sense, if you walk around with your pants above your behind and not underneath it, and if you actually are a working man, a family man, well, you want a family, they look at you like, uh-uh, mm-mm, absolutely not. You working at McDonald's? Uh-uh. But he got a job though. You want a man with a job, right? You want a man with some money, right? He got that. Mm-mm. No, 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 you can't do nothing for me. You working at McDonald's. You mean the same fast food restaurant that you pick your kids up? You pick them up something to eat from there, right? You talking about that? We talking about the same fast food restaurant? And didn't you just buy your kids some McDonald's the other night? But meanwhile, you coming down on this man for working at McDonald's and making a minimum wage. He can't do nothing for me. But he's a good man though. Nah, I just can't do it. McDonald's. uh Mikeyella says this sounds exactly like Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 14 through 68. The Hebrew Israelites descended scattered into all the nations as slaves. This is just Bible prophecy unfolding, man. This is just Bible prophecy unfolding. And it's sick. It is sick how we as a black people, whew, man, we need some work to be done. There's work that has to be done in the black community. Seriously. And then come on now. Now we off the black women. Cause we didn't talk about the black women. All right. Now let's get to the black men. Man. You know what's even more sad? It's the fact that the black men can't come together because they always believe that they're one another's ops. Who that is? That's one of the ops. Like, dude, how can you see him from 2 miles away? You just see a dude that's dressed just like you, and you believe that he's one of your ops. And this man is minding his own business. You know, let's be 100. What goes on in the black community with black men is the fact that it's the fatherlessness. It's the fatherlessness. It's the fact that they were not born and raised up by an actual father. The mother always had to play both roles. And the fact that mama had to play both roles, you didn't got your feminine ways from her. You handle things like a woman, like a female. Shout out to Stephen Darby, man. He talked about this stuff. He talked about this. He talked about the reason, and matter of fact, let's go to that. Because he talked about the reason why there's so much crime in the black community is because of fatherlessness, okay? And most importantly, it's the music. It is the music, especially in Chicago. He was talking about Chicago. Yeah, fatherlessness is why so many of our men have no emotional regulation. Seriously. They can't even control themselves. They out here just all bad. Messed up all up here. And then they allow the music to just pump them up. And it's like, yeah, yeah, I'm on that with anybody. Yup. Who that is? Who that is? And it's like, bro, how do you? And then you know what's crazy? They wake up every day looking to see who they can get into it with. They wake up and the first thing they do when they step outside their door, shit, who that is? One of the ops? Like for real. You know, vibranium on point. You say I knew black men that would get mad just because another black man looked at them. I'm telling you, this is what we have to go through in the city of Chicago. That's all that happens. The only reason why there is ops at the ops is because you want to know why? They be looking for they look, they don't even have no ops, okay? They just be looking to see if they can, figure out how to make a op. Fuck you looking at, boy? What you want? What you want? You looking at me? You looking at me? I'm looking at you. You looking at me? Like, what? How old are you? How old are you? 30 plus. They be 40 plus. You know what the real biggest issue is, man, in the black community with the black men, the 40 plus year old men. They shaving all this off, and they keeping this and keeping this, and then they getting lined up, and then yeah, yup. It's, and it's like, bro, you not young like how you used to be. You ain't, 18, 19, bro. You're 46. Chill out. You got 7 grandkids running around here. Meanwhile, you got your little gun bag sling to the side, all this shaved off. No, you don't see no gray hair. You don't see you see a little streak of gray hair too right there. That's how you know they be older, and that's a shame. And I'm telling you, they act so young, and they really want to be young still. Right? They be having waves. They got the dreads and stuff. Why you would think they a YN whole time you walk up close on him and he 51. 51, bro? Man, I'm telling you, you want to know what another issue is here in Chicago? The older generation of men. The older generation, when I tell you, when I say older, we talking 60 plus. 60 plus. Keep that in mind. And they got dreads, gray dreadlocks, dressing like they young YNs, dressing like they young. And then they be out there on the corners gang banging too. And they be with Buddy and them. I ain't even finna say FOLKS because I don't want nobody to think I'm really, gang banging and stuff like that. But they be with the young guys on the corner, gang banging, shaking up, selling loose squares, loose squares, loose squares, loose squares. This is what goes on in Chicago. Okay, that's the problem. You got the older generation. We talking 60 plus though. Then they got the dread. The crazy part that's diabolical is the fact that they got the dreadlocks though, and the dreadlocks, all of them is gray. Bro, if you don't take that out, shade it off your head and put a little baseball cap on or something like that, old man. Please. You look like you have a mop. Your head looks similar to my mop that's sitting in the sink right now. That's what it looks like. The mop, okay? The actual, like the little, yep. You walking around here with gray and white dreadlocks talking about, what's up, man? Yep. Shaking up and everything. Really, you looking for the ops too. And you 67, bro. You looking for the ops? Crazy work. Man, can you get Bloxing toner out of here? Itorica says black men should be comfortable in cheap clothes and hidden portfolio investments paying a livable dividend. You feel me? But no, they gotta wear the latest fashion. They gotta go get them a little Cybertruck and a Tesla. And meanwhile, they living in the hood. They living in the real trenches. They living in poverty, okay? And it is not okay. But we screaming reparations though. Why are we screaming reparations? How can we really help each other if we sitting up here living in poverty, but and got hella money? You got a lot of money. Your money long, okay? This is unbelievable. Your money is long. You living in poverty. Yeah, go get you some money. Yeah, I really like. Yeah, go get you some money. Yup. Yeah, we out here. We getting it. We chasing the bag. Right. While still living in poverty. So when you gonna escape poverty? When y'all gonna talk about that? You chasing the bag. And you chasing the bag and you running. And you chasing it. Everybody's doing the same thing. But when y'all gonna talk about really trying to get out of poverty though? They see most black folks believe that, especially black men, they feel like, yeah, let me go ahead and give me a rap career, get a rap career, then I'm gonna pull my family up out the trenches. They feel like that's the only way. And then they try to say, oh well, the white man, it's the white man. Nah, it's the fact that, yeah, the white man has created the system, but you fell for it. You fell victim to it, and you allowed yourself to sink so deep into it to the point where everything that you do Everything that you do is negative. And then you turn around and you say, the white man. The white man ain't tell you to get out here and start committing crimes and stuff, did he? The white man ain't tell you ain't tell you to get 6 different women popped off, did he? Cut it out, man. They really be out here in Chicago blaming the white man for everything. Real talk. Real talk. I'm gonna be honest with you. And I'm not trying to take up for a certain specific race, but I'm gonna be honest with you. When I call racism, I call out racism. When a person does something racist, no matter what your culture is, I don't care if you're white, black, Mexican, Chinese, whatever. If you're racist, I'm going to call out racism. But it's the fact that every time a black man commits a sin, they turn around and they try to say, the white man, see, the white man, if he had never, I wouldn't even be, like, we wouldn't even, nah, bro. You out here, you still with Buddy and them, and y'all still running up, committing crimes and stuff. Huh? What's going on? You said if you're not successful in this world, the only thing that has held you back is yourself. Facts. That's the thing. That's the thing. People allow this to literally control them. They allow their minds to become so negative and chaotic to the point where it controls them and their decisions and what they do. Yeah, they allow that. They allow the devil to live rent free up here. And then they turn around and they say, white man, yup. What happened? James said what? So Joshua says colonizers are not our friends. We need to come together as people. This is why they are able to manipulate us, because we can't stick together. I don't mind, Joshua. I don't mind coming together and being all for my black people. But the thing is, how are we gonna unite as a black people if most black people do not have common sense? They lack that. They lack common sense. If you don't have an ounce of common sense, and most importantly, if you have no compassion in your heart, how can we unite as a black people? I don't want to sit with you if you have hatred in your heart. If you are okay with people dying and rejoicing and making excuses as to why that person died, I can't sit with you. We can't unite. We two different people. I got love in my heart and you don't. Why am I wrong, James? Please explain why am I wrong? You said MKU says he did war on drugs, literally started gang and drug violence. To be honest, do your research, and that only was 1 generation ago. Please read. What are they talking about? Sorry, yeah, I gotta get me another moderator. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. Can't even have a, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna tell y'all, let me tell y'all something, man. Dang, y'all just messed me up. But the reason why we can't come together as a black folks, as a black people, you wanna know why?
The Chicago, nigga.
Because it's Chicago, nigga. It's glorified. It's glorified. This is Chirac, drill noise. I don't, why are they okay with that? Why are they okay with that? Let me tell y'all what is the reason, and this is all due respect. First of all, let's play this clip because I played it in the very beginning of this live stream. So let me play this clip again, and I want y'all to hear what this lady said. That's just very wild to me.
A deadly Labor Day weekend in Chicago as President Trump continues to set his eye on the city, threatening to send in the National Guard as early as this week. At least 52 people have been shot in Chicago over the Labor Day weekend. 7 of those victims died.
The violence included 3 mass shootings that happened at Haddon in California, in Chicago's Humboldt Park neighborhood, and 2 in Chicago's Bronzeville neighborhood, 35th and State and 36th and Cottage Grove. ABC 7's Jasmine Miner talked to people in Bronzeville about concerns about 2 mass shootings happening within 48 hours.
Many here in Bronzeville describe the neighborhood as on the come up, and they say they're not going to let the violence.
I'm sorry. Every time I hear that part, she say on the come up. On the come up to what? Let me rewind. Am I missing something? You said on the come up?
About concerns about 2 mass shootings happening within 48 hours.
Many here in Bronzeville describe the neighborhood as on the come up, and they.
On the come up of what? Crime? Because Bronzeville, when I tell you, Bronzeville is it has to be one of the neighborhoods in Chicago that is just straight up crime. That's why people be like low end crazy. They from the low end because they know that the low end gets reckless, and Bronzeville is the low end. The low end gets crazy. It gets reckless, okay? And why that happens is because I'm telling you, in the Bronzeville community, certain portions of the Bronzeville community is like low income buildings by one another across the street from each other. Then you got the middle class in the same exact neighborhood. It's just wild. But she said they on the come up. On the come up of what? Crime?
They say they're not going to let the violence stop the positive work they're doing. For one woman, that means keeping kids healthy, active, and on the field.
Keeping the kids. Bronzeville is the same community that is filled with children that carry guns at the age of 8 looking for the ops. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me, anybody that's from Chicago, tell me that I'm lying. I'm telling you, Bronzeville is a neighborhood full of children walking around with guns on their waistband. 8 years old, 9 years old, looking for the ops. Little ninjas out here, 8 years old. I'm serious, Vibranium. This is what happens in Chicago. Seriously. People literally don't believe that that's possible. I see it all the time. They be out here gang banging. And actually, I have a video that I want to show y'all after this one. We're going to do this real quick. And I'm going to show you this video of exactly what I'm talking about.
Alexis Hawthorne, owner of the top-tier university football youth program, says even gun violence won't keep her from serving kids in need. Their practice comes just a few hours and down the road from a mass shooting early this morning. 5 people were shot near 36th and Cottage Grove near Ellis Park, including a 17-year-old who is in critical condition.
At the end of the day,
come on, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. Another thing that happens in Chicago is there is nothing but a bunch of fatherless children. None of the fathers is around. None of them. None of the fathers is around. And when they are around, they from the streets. They from the hood. They come and visit their kids every now and then. You know what I'm saying? And they are introducing their children into this stuff. Most of them in the black community, in the Bronzeville community, are starting to kick their 12 and 13-year-olds out the house and make them wander around and find somewhere else to go. Because you don't want to be here, so get out my house. You know what I'm saying? 12 and 13 is diabolical, though. And then I seen one child. He was 11 years old when he got kicked out the house. And when he got kicked out, I don't know where he was sleeping. I don't know where he was going. I know he was messed up here. He was doing a lot of stuff. He was coming home. He was getting into some stuff. Now I see him outside and he 13 now. And he really with ganging them. And he really be carrying the blicky around. You want to know why? It's because his parents gave up on him. They kicked him out. They said, get out. Get your ass out of my house. You don't want to be here? Get out. And the boy was only 11. Now he 13, walking around with a gun on his waistband with gang in them. Riding around in cars doing hits and everything. He get caught up by the police every now and then, but guess what? They release him because he a juvenile. He ain't really getting no cases on him. You know, I mean, it's just crazy. It's like they throw their children out here and they feed them to the wolves. But Bronzeville is such a on the come up of crime.
One person that was critically injured and four folks in the hospital. Whatever the situation was, it was senseless.
It is.
Nobody reports the mom, Diller. Uh, I don't know. I know. Once upon a time, CPS came to her door and she told they ass to get gone. Okay, it's that simple. You know, this is what happens in the black community. CPS do come knocking at their door and they say, "Get the hell out of here. I don't need your services. You're not finna take my child." So you don't want CPS to take your child and put them in foster care. I do not agree with foster care, with children being in the foster care system whatsoever, because I'm dealing with that stuff right now, trying to fight the system to get my kids up out of there. You know, and it's not, and 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 it's not because my situation is like a lot of these black women giving up on your kids and kicking them out and stuff. My situation is totally different from theirs. They have CPS show up at they door and they tell them, "No, you ain't finna take my child, but you would rather feed your child to the wolves. You want your child to get hurt out here, murdered out here." Real talk. What's worse? You feeding them to the world and letting them get harmed and hurt and caught up in gang wars and stuff like that, or you putting them in a system? Which one is worse? Cause you don't want to deal with little Jimmy anyway. You tired of him coming in and out your door. He getting on your nerves. But what happened to you parenting him? There shouldn't be no way that an 11-year-old can run your home. No way. No way. You that is diabolical for an 11-year-old child to run your household and you gonna put them out. That's just crazy.
Is the second mass
Okay,
shooting.
give me 1 second. I'm gonna read the comments. MKU says some of the people in the neighborhood watch work in the after school programs. The problem is there is no way for you everyday person to fight back, so they just stay out the way. I don't know what you mean. You know, maybe you got some, like, I don't know, because I'm getting confused, kind of like trying to read your comment. No disrespect. Um, okay, y'all believe that that person is underage. Well, that's the problem with YouTube too, because I made it to where this video is not for children, but they still, like, people be letting their kids go into different accounts and see, and this is exactly why pedocrypia is actually normalized. Because these kids is getting on these sites that they don't have no business getting on and getting in adults' business and conversation and doing adult things, and the parents don't care long as their kid got a phone and they up out of their face. Get out of my face. Go get your phone. Play your game or something now. Like, that's the problem. You don't want a parent. You want to let the phone raise them, but that's another conversation. Um, Faith Fetilish, what's up, says, caught in a circle, a lit of black people are just grown kids raising exactly self thought processes, parents that put themselves over their children. Exactly. Yeah, CPS is weaponized against people. Yes, it is. And honestly, I am people. Seriously. Because once you have to deal with these CPS or DCFS, man, that is a really uphill battle that you got to fight. Seriously. That portion of the system is extremely corrupt. Shout out to Nancy Schaefer. She exposed that portion of the system. CPS. And they really target black mothers for real though. Wishbone said, "Do you just want to be a reporter or an agent for serious change? Otherwise, you would be saying the exact same things 50 years from now, a million homicides later." Are you talking about me, Wishbone? I don't know. I don't get it. Who you talking about? All right, so now you can get MKU up out of here because they're being disrespectful. if you getting upset because the people in the live stream is saying that you underage or whatever the case may be, that is exactly what we talking about. Grown people who claim that they grown, but they can't keep their emotions under control. They get to the point where they get to typing and beating down their phone and beating down the damn keyboard and stuff like that. You know what y'all call them, keyboard warriors? They do all that stuff and they do it online, and it's like, man, and they do it in person for real. They really be wanting to fight you and kill you and stuff because of a comment. Look at what they did to Charlie Kirk. Yes, CPS, the white teacher's weapon against black mothers. Yes. You know, the system as a whole is like, oh, the doctors be in on it too. You don't want to get your child vaccinated and stuff like that, they gonna call DCFS on you. You don't want to send your child to school and you would rather homeschool your child, they gonna call DCFS on you. But the problem is, you know, if school was such a if school was really needed for us, right? If we really needed school and school was very important, then why is it that we can't have an option? And why is it that our option cannot just be keep your child at home? It's like we have to put our children in school, because if we don't, DCFS is going to show up at our door. They're going to build a case on us and they're going to try to make us seem like we are horrible parents just because we want to do what we supposed to do, which is raise our child and train our child up in the way that they should go, and not throw them in a system and throw them to the wolves. Because these teachers and these people that work in these doctor's offices and these hospitals and stuff, they really be after the children. They really after the children. Straight up demon. Them people be on demon time. People that come, them people that work for CPS, come knocking at your door, straight demon time. I'm gonna be honest with you. You ain't gonna always come across, you know, you ain't gonna always come across a good CPS social worker. You're not. Very rare that you do. When you do, it's God's work. I'm telling you. Because it's like they come to your door and they just be ready to snatch a child because that's money to them. That's money. And then once they put your child in the system, they have to go along with the narrative. They built a case on you for so long that they have to go along with this narrative that you're just an abusive mother. You know, you're a neglectful mother. You neglected your child. You didn't take your child to the doctor like you were supposed to take them to the doctor, even though the doctor is pushing it down your throat that you must get your child vaccinated, you know, and you ain't with all that vaccination stuff, vaccination crap. So it's like, no, I'm cool. My child don't need no vaccines. Then they contact DCFS for that. You know, make it make sense though. Why does it have to be forced if it's so good for us? If school is good for us, then why does it have to be forced? If this is my belief, and I believe that my child does not have to attend school because I can be my child's school, and I don't want to put my child in a public school system, why are you targeting me for that? If this is my belief and this is my child that I carry, and I believe that my child should not get vaccinated and have no vaccine shots and stuff like that, the only reason why I want to take them to the doctor is so they can get weighed and, you know, make sure they good. That's about it. But you targeting me for not taking them to the doctor and getting them shots, getting them juiced up. That's how you know it's like they want to keep the people under control. They want to keep you under control, especially in the black community. And then once you start figuring out the law yourself and you start seeing that the things that they doing is unlawful, then they run and they hide and they leave you alone. Either that or they retaliate against you some way, somehow. And you know, this is the problem. Our own black folks, they sell us out. Black people be CPS workers coming to the door and stuff with binders. I'm here to see Daquan. I'm a CPS worker here to see Daquan. And then they be having attitudes and stuff too. Why don't you go home and lay down and seek help? Why don't you do that? So are you saying I can't see the child? Because if I can't see the child, then they try to threaten you with the police. Then they just want to cause a really big chaotic scene. Don't get me started on CPS. Because, bruh, I got all the smoke. Anwar, what's up? You said BLM was witchcraft and things haven't been the same amongst the community after that spell was cast. Yeah, BLM is, man, I found a lot out about them. You know, I found a lot out about them back in like 2021. But I never was with that movement at all. I could not get with it because I felt like it was something off about that. Because if that wasn't the case, then why is it when there's black on black crime, BLM is nowhere to be found? Like they ain't marching and protesting, but they making a fortune off of tragedies, bro. Crazy. This is how we do each other in the black community. Then meanwhile, they're trying to push their agenda, which is the rainbow community at the same time. Let me see. Yeah, they do believe all type of nonsense. John says my niece at 6 months received the flu vaccine. Let me tell you something. You can't tell me that a baby is not born into a very sinful, dark world. When a child is born, they're immediately born into a very sinful, dark world. You know, because they immediately start juicing up the little babies and stuff, vaccinating them up. These babies be perfectly fine when they come out. All they gotta, and you know, another thing, you know, in the black community with black women that goes on is I feel like doulas is a must, okay? When I tell you that was the best thing that I had for my last pregnancy, a doula, yes, I love that they do have that program now for black women. You know, get you a doula. You can get you a doula through your insurance, and I'm talking about like these doulas. Y'all should really consider that. I'm gonna be honest with you because they help you know your rights when you go into these hospitals and stuff like that. They help you in the healthiest way possible because they know that us as black women, we get targeted in these hospitals when our children are born, when our babies are born, especially if the man ain't there with you. Cause baby, my husband was right there when I was pushing them babies out for real, especially the last one. And I'm not about to, the thing is, he was definitely speaking up for me. Meanwhile, I got my doula right there at the same time. And she voicing, I'm telling you, these doctors and these nurses, they be terrified of these doulas. They scared because they know these doulas know the law. They know that they thoroughly read that HIPAA form that they gotta, yeah, they thoroughly read that stuff. These doulas, they go to school for this stuff. Like they really, really know what they doing. And these nurses and these doctors, they be getting pissed off and they get scared and they be shook, you know. So I do recommend women get a doula for sure. And they anytime it was kind of like having a lawyer, to be honest. It was really cool because it was like anytime the doctor would ask me a question and I'm like, nah, I don't know if I want to answer that, my doula would step in and she would talk to me on the side and then she would report back to the doctor. No, that's not what she's gonna do. She's not doing that because blah 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 blah, and broke it all the way down. And I'm like, wow. You know, so I say that too because it's like a lot of these black women don't know that when your baby is born, you want to spend much time needed with your baby. Keep them on your chest, skin to skin contact, keep the umbilical cord attached for a while until you're ready for it to be snipped and cut. Okay? And just like literally keep your child in your presence. Because once they take your child out that room, they getting them juiced up. They be lying, talking about, oh yeah, we're just gonna give the baby a bath. No, we finna do this. Let me give my baby a bath. You're not gonna give my baby their first bath. Let me do it. Okay? They do all type of stuff. They handle the babies all wrong. I'm telling y'all, man, I seen so much in the delivery rooms, as a black woman, and how they handle the babies. When the baby's first born, they just be throwing them all around and like doing all type of stuff, and they do it, and they don't have love in their heart when they doing it. They do it out of straight hatred. Then they get upset with you when you don't want to get your child vaccinated soon as they come out the womb. And they try to make it an option for you. And if you don't do it, guess what's going to happen? While you laying in the bed after you just gave birth, they going to bring the security guards up there, the police, and CPS with their binders. And that is how they get the black women while they in the hospital. Just gave birth. Baby fresh out of you. This is exactly how they target. This is why I highly recommend that the family comes together when a baby is about to be born. The whole family needs to be there, because when the black woman is in a room alone by herself, she's getting targeted. Seriously. Sometimes it ain't even gotta be just the woman. The father needs to be there. The father needs to be present, and he needs to stand. He needs to put his foot down. Put his foot down, because these doctors, they're going to throw out things, dish out things out there, and make it seem like you ain't got no options whatsoever. When they say, oh yeah, here's the form and your baby needs to get this vaccine, this vaccine, this vaccine. Why do my baby need that though? You got to think about it. Think about it, y'all. Why do the babies have to get juiced up soon as they come out of the womb into the world? Why? They lie and they say, oh, they're being, these diseases and stuff like that. They're being protected against the diseases. Okay, but explain to me why is it that a baby was perfectly fine in the womb for 9 months straight? No harm being done to the baby. The baby was comfortable, you know? And then they born into this world and they getting poked at, you know, they're getting attacked pretty much. And it's up to the parent to protect the baby. But it's hard for the woman to protect when she just gave birth. It's like you pretty much paralyzed. And they get you when they know that you can't get up off your feet. Cause I think, what is it? The first few hours after giving birth, it's hard to maneuver around, hard to walk. You can't really do nothing. Your body is weak. That's when they get you. They know you can't move. They know you can't do nothing. I'm telling you, man, they're evil. They're evil. And the babies have to endure evil when they first are born into this world. Yeah. James says black men 50 plus came from a culture. We don't dress like we are young. We still dress like we came up. Young black men culture dress with their pants off their behinds.
In Bronzeville in the last 40
So James, are you saying that you're 50 plus? See, that's the thing. This is exactly what I be talking about. I don't know if y'all heard me or not, but I just specifically said that I'm not talking about all black people. If the shoe fits, simply lace it up and walk around in it. Because the fact that you had to defend that and you didn't even have to at the same time is crazy. I'm not talking about all black men, but most of the black men that I see that's 50 plus, if you know that you don't do that, then why you have to defend yourself? Most of the black men that I see, old and young, but the majority of them is older black men, and they be dressing like they young. I see it in the city that I live in, Chicago, Illinois. That's what I'm saying. It's like, if I'm not, if why would you assume that I'm talking about you though? Why? Black people always got to figure out a way to try to defend something that simply has nothing to do with them, though. What's up, Terrence? Welcome back. Let me finish this video. So
8 hours. The other happened on Saturday night near 35th and State, where 7 people were hurt during a drive-by. Those like Alderman Pat Howell are taking action, telling ABC7 in a statement, "I have long asked for additional police manpower to deal with large illegal gatherings and pop-up parties that routinely occur throughout the Bronzeville neighborhood." It follows Mayor Brandon Johnson signing an executive order this week to avoid the Trump administration from sending the National Guard into the streets of Chicago.
Us as people, we can come together and fix it out on our own. We don't need no one to come here and, wreck shake our community.
let me rewind what she said. See, this is what I be talking about. Black people, most black women are so lost. They just be saying stuff. They don't even be knowing what they saying. They feel like they did enough deep research and they know exactly what they saying and exactly what they're talking about. But what are you saying? You saying we don't need nobody to come through here and wreck our communities, but our communities, I'm not saying that it's okay for them to do that, but our communities is already reckless. We going to war with each other. There is no other race involved in this except us. Us as black people going to war with each other, stabbing each other in the back, snaking each other out, backdooring each other, stealing from one another. Can't stand to be around each other. Always got to start some sort of conflict. Always got to disagree and get upset and call each other names and stuff like that. Exactly. As black people, we can't even push love. It's about correct this and that. We can't push love, but we don't need nobody to come in our communities and tear up our community. Our community is already torn. It is a broken community. The community is broken because people don't have love in their hearts. They got so much hate for each other, especially in the black community. And this has just been going on for generations after generations. And it's sad, bro. I want to respect my elders. I love old people. I really do. I promise you. I've worked around old people, and most of them, they just have some sweethearts for real. But the older generation that I've been seeing nowadays is just, they're so disrespectful and they so rude and they just want to fight you. They literally want to fight you. Prime example, before I get back to the video. We was at the store and we was trying to get to the line. There was this old lady that was hunched over, like, pushing the cart, and her son, obviously that was her son or whoever he was, standing next to her. He looked like he was in his 40s or 50s. And my husband specifically said, "Excuse me, ma'am, we trying to get past." So, we was trying to hurry up and get to the line or whatever. So she got upset and she looked at us, turned her head, and started coughing on us. And I'm like, and this lady, she looked so evil in the face while she was doing it. Her son, or whoever the gentleman was that was with her, did not correct her whatsoever. And I turned around, I said, wow, she really just coughed on us simply because we asked, "Hey, excuse me, can we get past?" This is how we do each other. And it's crazy because it be the older folks. I'm telling you, it was an older lady that was in the phone store a few months back, literally arguing back and forth with my husband. She had a cane and everything, arguing with him. And the lady that was behind the register, she was like, looking like, the lady came in the store to argue. She was negative as hell. It is, and I'm telling you, like, I want to respect old people so bad, and I still will to this day. I will still respect people that respect me. You get all my respect if you can respect me. But if you're disrespectful, then what? Come on now. And then they be the main ones talking about black power, man. They be the main ones. We need to stick together as black folks, man. They're gonna come in our communities. And why didn't you think of that the other day? when you cussed at this man because he was trying to help you. He was trying to help you get across the street. Don't you put your hands on me, you stupid young punk. You know, cussing them out, calling them names and stuff like that. But it's like, I mean, man. But what she said is just, it's crazy.
Chicago. Us as people, we can come together and fix it on our own. We don't need no one to come here and, wreck shack our community up.
Ma'am, do you really feel like, and this is all due respect, I don't know if she gonna ever see this video, but ma'am, do you ever feel like we gonna come together and get it together on our own? We have the opportunity. We have the open opportunity to do it now. Why are we not doing it now? Why haven't we been doing it? Is the real question. Why can't we come together on our own in the first place? Like, and these be the same people that express hate for Charlie Kirk. I'm not saying specifically her, but people that talk like that. Majority of the times, they be like, oh, we need to come together as a people on our own. We don't need no National Guards coming to Chicago. Then as soon as you say, so how do you feel about Charlie Kirk's death? He got what he deserved. Shoot. He was racist. And it's like, that's all you just believe that he was racist because you heard about it all across the internet. No, I just believe that he's racist. How do you know that he's racist? Have you heard any of his debates? Have you seen anything? Well, I saw this one clip that they played on TikTok. Old people always bringing up a TikTok or Facebook. Facebook. What you doing on Facebook? Ain't you like 79? I was on Facebook the other day and I saw a pastor, he was trying to preach a message, and I saw the comment section and those girls were talking so nasty about my pastor. Why are you on Facebook? Looking at comment sections. So I wanted to comment, but I said I'm not going to do that. I'm too old. If you're too old, then shouldn't you just be not even having a social media account? Make it make sense. You said hold on. You said ask the chat, is they ready to go against us? And they black too, but most other cultures respectful. Exactly. That's my thing. Our own people, everywhere we go, me and my husband and our child, everywhere we go, we get nasty, dirty, demonic stares from our own culture of people. And they want war with us. They want chaos with us. But tell me why, please explain to me why one time when we was walking past in our own black community, black folks was looking us up and down, ready to argue and start a war with us, ready to say, what you looking at? You looking at me, I'm looking at you. Why you looking at me? I'm looking over there. I ain't looking at it. Looking. Like, we ready to go to war with each other over who's looking at who, right? But meanwhile, there's a white lady and a white man that was pushing their disabled son into the van, and they waved at us and they said, hi, how you guys doing? And we were like, hi, how you guys doing? That's a damn shame. They come in our communities and they greet us and they talk to us. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say all of the white folks, all of the other cultures and stuff like that, because that don't always happen like that. But honestly, the majority of the time, it's like, when the white people come in our communities, they greet us. But us as a black people, we hate each other. We be neighbors with each other and we still hate each other. Oh, my neighbor getting on my fucking nerves. Steady keep stumping and hitting the wall. Oh, they pissing me off. I'm so tired of them. Like, we hate each other as neighbors. And it's sad. Ready to kill you for being in the wrong, for them being in the wrong, and you try to let them know, like, hey man, you was wrong, you ain't have to do that. You said what? Like, dang, I ain't trying to die because like you can't even tell them that they wrong. That's how bad it is. John says, my brother and his wife. My brother and his wife left their newborn son at the hospital overnight for some reason. The hospital needed to observe him. The baby did not survive because they did an unnecessary test on him. See what I'm saying? That is so sick and that is so sad. You know, no. No. Because the babies, they be perfectly fine. I'm telling you, they perfectly fine. They come out the wombs. I'm not gonna always say like that's always the case, because sometimes babies do come out with certain conditions, okay? But if the baby comes out and the baby is perfectly fine and the vitals is all good and stuff like that, and then a doctor come inside the room and tell you, hey, yeah, we want to release you guys, but we just have to keep the baby overnight, okay? We just want to watch over him. You know what's crazy? They told me the same exact thing with my oldest son. He had jaundice when he was born, and they wanted me to keep him there and they was going to release me, and I'm like, hell no. Hell no, we won't go. No, I'm here with my baby. Nope. He ain't getting released until I get released. You know? When you discharge him, you discharge me. Other than that, nope, I ain't leaving this hospital without my child. Y'all crazy as hell. But, you know, that's the thing. They say stuff, yeah, and they act so promising and they act so nice. And whole time they be real demons. The demons, they come in the human form. And they talk just like you and everything. And they can mimic, you know, how to be nice and stuff. Yeah. You know, the CPS workers, they do the same. Listen, I'm here for you. I'm on your side, okay? Foster care agencies do the same. We're on your side. They always say that. Anytime a person say that they on your side, you must question them. You must question that. Yeah, I got you. I'm on your side. Look, I'm not like them. Then you end up finding out that they really like them. Like, nah, man, you can't just go along with everything. Seriously. We can't. He said, she lying. I just seen a video of a person in Chicago shooting at the police. Exactly. Come on, man. All right. Wonderful Me says, some allude of white people wear masks pretending to lie blacks. As soon as those white people find out white people don't like you, their mask comes off. I'm trying to understand what you're saying. I ain't gonna lie to you. I really, like, respectfully, sometimes, like, with the way that y'all type y'all comments, I really can't understand what y'all be saying. Right, voice be extremely soft and they be evil as I don't know what. Trust me, man. We had a caseworker like that before we was dealing with. They had the softest voice. I mean, Teletubby type. You know what I'm saying? Extremely came off extremely kind and nice to everybody, but behind closed doors was a real wicked, evil witch. I mean, real evil and wicked. Soon, with the stroke of a pen, can demolish your whole life. For real. That's how evil they was. But they talk like this. Oh, yes, of course. Yes. Yeah, we have you. We got your back. No problem, Daddy. No problem. You go, girl. And it's like, what you want? What you really on? You know, anytime a person really act like that, that overly animated stuff is very questionable. I really don't like when people talk extremely animated. Yeah, sure, of course. And it's like, this is like literally no disrespect to a certain race, because my own black people do that shit. Own black folks, they do it. Other just like that. They be overly damn animated. And then you have to question that sometimes because they do some of the most evil, wicked things behind closed doors. I'm telling you, man, this is how deceiving people can be. Seriously. But see, me, I look at things from a spiritual aspect. When people get to acting overly animated, and I intentionally don't engage and mock the way that they talk, and I just talk regular, I'm like, yeah, yep. But anyway, yeah, so, and then they just calm all it down. All of a sudden, now they looking at you like, yeah, she doesn't want to agree with anything that I'm saying. So, okay, I got something for her ass. Yeah, she really thinks that this is like, yeah, okay, bet. Like, what? So, you said shape of a meltdown of, um, oh, facts. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You said white people wear a mask pretending to be like black people. Sometimes, but honestly, if you ask me, my own black culture, they want to be they want to be like more like white people, especially the black sophisticated women. You know, the black sophisticated women, you can't tell them nothing because they went and they got their degree. Okay, I have 3 degrees. Okay, and no one can tell me anything. I'm successful, and yeah, marriage, I'm not ready for that. Like, I have my whole life ahead of me. I still have more work to do in this field. And I really have to get out here and I really have to do what I have to do in order to have children. Like, I'm not ready for children yet. You sure? You like 38 years old. You sure? You sure you want to wait till you 45? I don't know if you want to wait till you 45. Because soon as they turn 40, yeah, I'm good. I'm not going to have any kids. Nah, I don't have kids. I have dogs, though. Those are not children, okay? Those are animals, not children. Yeah, but they're my babies, though. Okay, you know. I'm telling you, I knew this one person with the most. I knew this one person. They had the most ghettoest name, but they talk like so animated, animated. You know, you got Laquifa. Hi, Miss Laquifa. Yeah, sure, no problem. Like, of course. Why wouldn't I do that? And I'm literally sitting here watching her channel, and I think that she's talking about me. Yeah, I have my degrees, though. What about her? She's on YouTube. She's a YouTube chick. She does YouTube. She's just a fucking content creator. That's what the fuck she does. But anyway, I'm in my bag. Okay? It's like for real. I'm just trying to put some humor with it, y'all. Wonderful Me says some oh, I think I read that already. Okay, let me finish this clip. Because I gotta show y'all this other clip.
I got kids, and I want to see the community better. I run every day out here. I exercise out here. So for the street to be safer, I think it's really good.
But Hawthorne says her.
So he thinks that it's good for the National Guards to come out here. He says that he runs out here and he got kids that be out here, and for the streets to be safer, he believes that the National Guards to come. But this is my thing here, though. The National Guards can come all they want. They can, if they want to fix the crime. But the thing is, they can't fix the people. Because more people, their minds are going to become corrupted because they're going to allow that. And they're going to allow it to allow them to commit more crimes. So it's like the National Guards can fix the crimes if they want to, but they can't fix the people. Because the people of Chicago, especially in the black community, are very evil, very wicked, very hateful. And I'm not saying all black people. If the shoe fit, wear it. Lace it up. Make sure it's tight.
Football program does just that. Teaching kids a healthier way.
You talking about the... Hold on. Okay, so this is my thing right here. They saying that the football programs and all of that. I'm telling you, bro, some of these little young boys out here, they They are a part of programs, but they still carry pistols around on them and they still with gang in them. So I mean, it don't matter how many programs y'all put in place and how much funding you come up with, it's still not going to be able to fix the parenting, and it's still not going to be able to fix the children. Because at the end of the day, the parents are still going to feel like they don't have to parent. So I want to go to this video so I can show y'all exactly what I'm talking about. Because I'm sure a lot of y'all probably don't believe me when I say in Chicago there are 8 and 9-year-old kids that is carrying guns around. I'm telling you. And they really be out here really like that. And the parents know, they know exactly what their kids out here doing because, I mean, you allowed him to go outside. You allowed it. So, here we go, y'all. Man, this is crazy. Make sure y'all, you can get Earl up out of here. He being disrespectful. You being disrespectful, Earl, and we don't like that. Not here on this channel. People, they don't believe that they're demons. That's the thing. We talked about the demons yesterday, y'all. People don't believe that they're demons. They don't believe that they have the demons inside of them. The demons that are inside of them also helps them to type crazy stuff in the keyboard, So anyway, let's watch this video. Oh, by the way, this is my city, Chicago, Illinois. Y'all say y'all don't believe me that there's little kids carrying guns and stuff. Look at these 2 little boys right here. Tell me how old you really think they are. You just tell me.
Don't play. Union and hostage. Don't play that.
Look at this baby. He is a baby. He has the face of a baby, okay? That little boy, I would give him probably 8 years old. You know what I'm saying? You said 10 to 12. I would get the other one. The other little boy that's next to him with the ski mask on looks like he's about 10. But the little boy next to him looks like a little baby, man. They out here carrying switches and all type of stuff. But y'all say we don't need the National Guards, huh? And I'm going to be honest with you. These little ninjas, they so messed up here. They so messed up here that they are willing to challenge the National Guards. They believe that they are unstoppable. That's the problem. So we're going to take it from the top.
This U block right here, this crazy. Don't play. Union and hostage. Don't play that.
Anybody say they claim 77 lucky games when we made that loose fakes? I don't think sweet.
This my shit. Cut through this bitch playing crazy. We gonna flip your shit. Call them great.
Bro, don't try to run because we gonna be right there with you.
I'm 48, bro. Been out here for years. Look at that gray hair. Great. 48.
Prime exam. I'm glad they just showed that. I forgot about that part. This dude 48 looking like he's 63. You sure, bro? The 48, man, I've been out here for years. Look at that gray hair. Yup, been on the corner and nobody finna do nothing to me. I don't really like that. I'm reforming you. Yeah, 48. Like, how are you proud? How can you be proud? How is that something to be proud of? Such an accomplishment. And you are what's wrong with the black community. You see these little young boys, these little freaking 9 and 10-year-olds roaming up and down the street carrying switches, and you ain't even trying to help them. You ain't trying to stop them. Yeah. One of them old school ninjas that be on the corner, off the liquor and stuff, dozing off and everything, off all type of drugs. He remind me of one of them.
Yeah, man, 48. Yup, been out here for a minute. Nobody finna do nothing to me. I'm really like that. And it's like, see that? Yup, gray. Yup. See all that gray hair? Yeah, we see it. And I see that you shaved all this off because you want to look young, but you still look old, sir. You look like a fool standing on the corner talking about you 48 with gray hair, all right here. And you see these young men walking past, you know that they can really be something in the future. But instead of guiding them, that's what's wrong with Chicago, I'm telling you. That's what's wrong. Let's finish. This ain't nothing. Free Lil Swerve, free Lil J, free Lil Stab, free Lil Fonzo, you know how we get.
They up the dogs. They doing it.
Do your homework on Harvey, boy. Last happened to the last one on phone. Don't play that.
This how it's spelled too.
You reach for this, is adios, you DOA, inside your hood. I know Lil Phone got the wheel, so I kick back, I know I'm good.
Finish to this block, chop the round, we touch that top. Chop it big in this block, chop the round, we touch the top. Hey, you know I'm smoking good, I'm off the lane, I'm off the walk.
We ain't got no osmo, the ops.
See what I'm saying? You see, and then they let the music is what corrupts their mind. and it allows them to do and say these things, and it's like, you see how they rapping this stuff and they just pumping themselves up. And they just really like programming themselves on the inside to really. Did this dude just say we ain't got no ops but F the ops? You see what I'm saying? They're looking for ops. They want ops. They look for them. So they ops are the ones that they stare down. All they have to do is stare you down good enough. Even if you ain't know nothing, you ain't trying to bother nobody. If you look up and you look their way, if you mad at your business and you just happen to look up and you see a little young YN standing on the corner with dreadlocks with his homies just staring you down. They over there like this, staring at you. Soon as you look up, you one of they ops. Instantly, one of they ops. Yeah, what you want? What you want? You from around here? Like, we don't want better. You can't tell me we want better in our communities. How are we going to clean up our own communities if we can't even get along? How are we going to clean up our communities if no one wants to address the fact that it is the parenting that has went completely downhill to the point where no one wants to parent their children anymore? They're allowing the streets to raise their kids. You know, you despise your baby daddy so bad because he walked out on you and everything that you don't even want better for your son. And I understand the father is supposed to be there, but there is no way that you can blame the father at this point if he's not there. We can blame the fact that this this child is fatherless though, and he has a lot of these issues because he's fatherless and he was born and raised by his mother instead of his father. You know, we can say that, but at the same time, though, you still sitting back blaming your baby daddy, and he been out the picture for 3 years now. Yeah, my baby daddy. I don't know, man. My baby daddy. You still talking about your baby daddy, and you ain't heard from this man in 3 years. But you got so much hate in your heart for your baby daddy. Soon as your son do something, it's like, you getting on my nerves. You act just like your daddy. His daddy ain't been in the picture for 3 years. How he act like his daddy ain't even been around for 3 years. But that's the problem. That's the issue. Get on my nerves. Get up so you can go to school. Come on, put your stuff on. Finna get your ass up out my face. This is what they do in the black community. They want your ass up and out the house. It's like boot camp, you know, to them. But they don't care if you don't make up your bed. They don't care if you up playing your game all night. They don't care if you out in the streets at the age of 9, holding switches, talking about, yeah, we gonna smoke on the ops. We smoking on this pack. They don't care, man. Long as you up out their face and they don't have to parent you. Just chanting and. So anyway, I want to look at this video real quick. we're gonna do like another 15 minutes, y'all, and then we're gonna end this. I study with Love By on YouTube, and anytime. Because so this video that I'm about to show is Stephen Darby. Shout out to him, man. Stephen Darby Ministries. He definitely like helped me and my husband up here. Real talk. Like he helped us. Real talk. And the name of this video is titled "Why Are They Killing in Chicago?" God rest his soul, man. If he was alive right now, I know he'd be definitely preaching on what's going on in Chicago right now. But God bless this man, Stephen Darby. He really, really helped us to understand a lot. You know, this man was very wise, very, very smart and knowledgeable on a lot of things, especially the Bible. Yep, starts with honor and discipline. That's the only way that we can really unite as a people, you know, is if we have love in our hearts. If we have love in our hearts enough to really care for change, enough to really care to unite as a people, then I'm sure we'll be able to do it. But we also must honor one another. We don't even honor each other in our own communities. We look down on one another. We hate each other, you know. All right.
We were looking at the situation in Chicago, and I said I wanted to study what's going on. I know there's always been deaths and murders and shootings and gangs, but I didn't know what was happening, why it was so concentrated in those areas, and why these young boys was dropping like flies. And it wasn't the old gangsters, the guys in their 20s. These are like 15, 16, 17-year-old guys that was shooting each other. And I want to know why. I'm not a person that just looks at it. I want to know why. Why is it happening? Okay. And so I studied a little bit about it yesterday, and I found out some stuff about rival gangs, and found out some stuff about Chief Keef and these young guys who put out this murder, death.
So I just want to say this. I went to school with Chief Keef. I didn't know who he was until everybody started screaming his name out the window. But around the time that I went to school with him, it was closer to, well, it was the beginning of my senior year. And this was like back in, what was this, 2011? Yeah, 2011, 2012. And this was around the time where Chief Keef had first made the song, was it 300? So I want to show y'all how Chicago, before we go back to what Stephen Darby is saying, I want to show y'all exactly what happened to Chicago and how Chicago turned out this way. And this is just all due respect. This is just the straight up truth. Me and my husband, we watched Chicago flip and change. It used to be a point in time where we would be able to argue with each other. We would be able to fight, you know, just fight, fist fights and stuff like that. But then a minute 13 years ago that Chief Keef decided to come out with this, and it was pushed out there, you know. We can't say it was him that did it, but it was pushed out there. The whole Chicago just got messed up after this, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this song. I don't own no copyrights to this music, and I know that y'all don't want to hear this. And I honestly, I don't care to hear it either, but I just want to show y'all why Chicago became this way and what happened. What happened was 13 years ago See? So that is what happened to Chicago 13 years ago. It all started when his song came out. And like I said, around the time when he made that song, he don't even know me. I'm sure he don't. But he doesn't even know that we attended the same exact school around that time. I started seeing beef and wars and stuff in Chicago get turned up a notch. And then it got real turned up. And then it got like to the point where, you know, if they catch you on foot in their neighborhoods and you're not from that block and you're not from that area, then it's going down. I can almost guarantee you that every last one of those young black men that you saw with those dreadlocks in that video is probably not alive right now. And if they're not alive, they are probably locked up. And if they aren't, if they ain't locked up and they are alive, whatever the case may be, they just probably so corrupted in the minds. I'm telling you. Because Chief Keef, he's still doing music to this day and he's still messed up in the head. Even though he rich and he famous and everything now, it's like at the end of the day, this is what led the... It's just so sad, bro. It's sad. This is what has caused the black community to shift and change to the point where every black man out here want to be a savage. Black women want to be savages now. Black women want to do drill music now instead of taking care of their children. You know, being there for their kids. They believe that they need to be a savage. And then they are okay with their Michael. Then they are okay with their children getting out here gang banging as well. It's sad. So I just wanted to show y'all that is one of the videos. And correct me if I'm wrong. If it wasn't this specific song 300, it was one of his other songs. Like I Don't Like, you know what I'm saying? One of those songs, at the end of the day, it was death music. And once he dropped that, it rocked pretty much the whole world to the point where everybody wants to kill, be savages, do drill music. Look at the younger generation. They so messed up in the minds. They don't know if they coming or going. They don't even want to go to school. They don't want to do nothing, man. They just want to rap, do music, find the ops. You know what I'm saying? These little young females out here, they want to dress nasty and stuff so they can go chill and hang out and drink and smoke with a 20-year-old. Meanwhile, they're 12. And it's like, it's just I mean, the way that this specific music that he has created shifted Chicago for the worse is crazy. And y'all got to think about something. This man living his best life pretty much. He's out there rich and famous. He got all the fame, you know. He just living it up, kicking his feet up, you know. Nice big old mansion and everything. While he helped to create a mess here in Chicago. It's crazy. But let's go back to what Stephen Darby was saying.
Drill music, I guess is what it's called, but it's really just death music, talking about shooting and killing each other. And it's mighty funny that they never connect the dots, that the people don't seem to connect the dots, that the inspiration for this comes from what you're listening to, what you're putting in you.
Tired of feeling priced out of real estate.
It comes from what you're putting in you because you pumping yourself up to go commit a crime, you know? You feel like, long as I listen to this song, this is gonna help me. And it's a shame, man.
I mean, I don't understand why we don't understand. I don't know. Well, I know why, because the music industry has done a good job at keeping themselves from being accountable. And I remember years ago when we was growing up in the 80s, there was some young guys I think we was in middle school, and they had went out and killed some people. And they said that the record they was listening to by this rock group called Judas Priest had subliminally told him to do it. And it was a record they made called Suicide, and these people was killing themselves after they listened to the song. Now the music industry came out with all their lawyers and tried to say that music has nothing to do with the influence of people. And they won that case, and after that, the music industry had a free pass, and they never had to be responsible for the garbage that they put out. Even though we know that we are creatures of subjection. In other words, better yet, suggestion. That means we follow trends and fads. We are creatures of peer pressure. We follow what is popular. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Many of us did not have good teaching growing up, strong mothers and fathers.
Did not say that. I said the problem with the black community. That's crazy. He said that. Problem with the black community is we follow trends. We follow trends. That's all we do. You know, because for many generations, if I'm saying it right, you know, the generations before us, majority of them were weak-minded. Yeah, don't get me wrong, some of the grandparents and, you know, the parents from way back when, they did have some wisdom, you know, don't get me wrong, but most of these black folks didn't have common sense. You see, it's the fact that, you know, common sense is just ain't common no more. It's not common anymore. You know, anybody that has common sense, you get looked at like you're some sort of threat. You said all of us Chicago black men are affected from the crime here. If you from here, then you feel the effects. Yes, that's for sure. You know, and it's sad that even the good black men out here that just want to go do their thing, go to work, take care of their family, whatever the case may be, they have to keep looking over their shoulder continuously because, you know, you never know if Pookie and them trying to get on something with you, even though you're not on nothing. You're not on nothing. You just trying to take care of your family. You just trying to do what you do. Meanwhile, Pookie and them standing on the corner, mean mugging you, ready for you to look up at them so they can create you to be one of their ops. You can't even go to the store and shop in the store in peace in your own community because Pookie and them gonna run up in there with some damn ski mask on and try to rob everybody in our own communities. The drill rap music, man, it puts such a horrible bad mark, you know, on these young the young generation underneath us. And they just really feel like what's fun to them is drill rap music. I see the kids around my area, man, they come outside at nighttime. They don't even, you know what's so sad? It's the fact that they come home from school, they come outside, then they go back in for like an hour or two, then they come outside at 8 p.m. and then they don't go back in the house until like close to 10 o'clock. But while they're outside, they're playing with, you know, they playing with these fake toy guns. Okay? And these fake toy guns, it look like real guns that they playing with. They playing with them and they chasing each other down and they acting like they shooting each other. They bah bah. You know, this is how the kids, the younger generation, have fun. They don't play hopscotch and double dutch and, you know, tag you with bubblegum in the dish. They don't know what that is. They're not gonna play that. That's boring to them. If they can't act like they doing some TikTok, they literally come outside with their phones and do TikTok dances. They do TikTok dances outside. They be on their phones, their tablets while they're outside, and they play like they hunting down the ops and stuff like that. This is how they play in the black communities. And the parents know, but they just don't care as long as you getting up out of their face. Go on outside, get your ass out my face.
To correct us and to guide us properly. So most of what we learned was from music. We learned how to have sex with girls from music. We learned about women, most of us, from music. Say amen. We learned how to dress, how to look, how to walk with the limp. All that came.
Facts, you know, that's so true. Without God, it is literally no choice but to be violent. Yes, because when you don't have God in your life or in your household, you know, and you choose the devil, then when it's time for you to raise up your child, you ain't gonna know how to raise your child correctly because you allowed the devil to live rent free in your head to the point where you get so irritated at being a parent and you push your child and feed them to the wolves. You push them out there in the world and you feed them to the wolves. And it's like, get out my house. I'm so tired of you. You getting on my nerves. Child ain't nothing but 9 years old. They have normalized kicking children out of the house at the age of 10, 11. For real. You said kids outside solo, 6 years old, making you know what I'm saying? For real. Literally, we walked past this little girl today. She was the only one outside playing by herself, but she had the phone in front of her doing the TikTok dance. And the girl looked like she was probably 7 years old. Outside with some little shorts on, shirt tied up in the back. Just, I mean, where's the mom? Where's the dad? Nowhere around. This little girl stretching her legs, doing splits, doing TikTok dances. The little girl, though. This is how bad it has become in Chicago. How bad it has become. I would not be surprised if a lot of Chicagoans have seen my videos and stuff like that. That's why they be looking at me like, when I go in stores and stuff like that, people be looking at me like, I know her from YouTube. All that stuff she be talking. She ain't talking that stuff now. No, I'm not. Go on my YouTube channel and you gonna see exactly what I be talking about, though. Because I'm not about to talk to you in person. You know what I'm saying? People don't even give, that's another thing too in the black community, bruh. People don't even give you recognition where it's due. If you sitting there, you watching me on YouTube and you see me in the store, this is exactly how they was with Charlie Kirk. You know what I'm saying? Why? Why you worried about what side of Chicago? What you mean? I don't know, man. People, the way when they ask stuff like that, I don't know if you mean like where I'm from right now or what side I was born and raised on. Okay, Gene, that's what's up. But Chicago needs God, if anything, if you ask me. Chicago just needs God. Forgot what I was saying too. But yeah, it's just messed up out here. Messed up out here. It's the parenting. I have to say it is the parenting, bro. And y'all sit here, y'all say black unity. Please understand what you're saying. You don't want to unite with someone just because they have the same exact skin complexion that you have. You don't want to unite with someone just because they're from around the same exact area that you're from, and just because there's racism targeted at us as black African American people, and just because there is injustice within the system, now it's time to unite. No, because you have to make it make sense. If you don't have love in your heart, if you have literally not an ounce of compassion, no care in the world, and you got straight hate, I don't want to unite. I'm cool. You need to fix yourself first. And a lot of black people need to understand that too. You got to fix yourself first before you can unite with somebody else and gather hands and stuff like that. Fix yourself. Because a lot of these black folks really be fighting demons for real. Real talk. Right now, I remember what I was just saying. What's so crazy to me is this is exactly what they did to Charlie Kirk. They hated him so much because of the truth that he spoke. They called him racist, things like that. And the whole time, they had this hatred so deep in their heart. The hatred was so strong for this man, that once he did die, they were so happy that they celebrated his death. They want bad things to happen to truth tellers. That's why, you had people that was literally going to the Charlie Kirk debates just to. There was this one guy that was 70 some years old, went to the Charlie Kirk debate and told him, I want to fight you. I want to challenge you to a fist fight. And he didn't let up from it. You 70 plus years old, ready to get knocked out by a 31-year-old man talking about you ready to challenge him to a fist fight. Just because of his beliefs versus yours. This is exactly what's wrong in the black community too. You cannot think opposite from them. You can't. Because if you do, they'll be ready to target you. So if they see you on YouTube and stuff like that doing content like myself, making videos about what's real, what's the truth, and they see you in the store, it's like, look, there she go. That's the same one that was doing all that talking on YouTube and stuff like that. Look at her now. Yeah. And it's like, you cannot deny the fact that everything that I was saying was really the truth. Because if it wasn't, then why you looking me up and down talking about, look at her, but y'all say black unity, Black Lives Matter, reparations. Come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Knock the coffee out you. Like, for real. We don't want to support each other. That's the problem. A person would literally see that I'm from YouTube in a store. Because I won't be surprised. Trust me. Someone in my neighborhood had came to me and literally told me, hey, I saw one of your videos. I saw it on YouTube. It was in the algorithm. And I was watching your videos. I'll be seeing you on YouTube. It was so crazy to me. And I was like, oh, snap. See, I ain't never think of that. I never thought of it. I just be doing videos and stuff. But I'm like, I never thought that one of my neighbors can literally see me and hear everything that I'm talking about. I mean, obviously they hear everything I'm talking about because they're looking at my videos. But it's like, I never knew that my neighbors would literally see me in the algorithm on YouTube. That's how crazy it was. So I would not doubt that I can go to the store and pretty much majority of the store saw me on YouTube. Because all people do is be on their phones. They be on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. That's all they do. And people watch more YouTube than anything. I would not doubt. But see, that's the thing. We don't even acknowledge one another. We don't even say, hey, I know you from YouTube. You know what I'm saying? We just look each other up and down. Look, there he go. That's that basketball content creator dude from YouTube or whatever. And instead of acknowledging you, what they do is they steal your ideas. This is what we do to each other in the black community. I'm telling you. I know how many people. It was a few people actually that pretty much hinted that they knew my husband from YouTube. And like, he was doing his basketball content and stuff like that. Few people ran up on him and stuff like that. Not in a bad way, but they was like, hey, man, keep doing your thing. I see you. And it's like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? It was this one dude that was like, hey, you supposed to be a funny guy or something, and you do basketball. I know you. Hey, I'm going to just be honest, bro. Keep doing your thing. And it's like, they see him, But then what they do is they steal your ideas and they come to the basketball court with their phones and they start recording. But the whole time they not really recording themselves because they too busy watching you. And they so in awe of the things that you do. And it's like, oh my God, he really right here next to me. He really doing content. This is really him. They really be geeking though. But at the same time, we can't acknowledge each other. I'm not saying like we're supposed to like bow down to one another. Oh my God, yes, oh yes, master, yes, this is you. You're the content creator. Like, no, like I'm not saying we're supposed to be like that. But if you seen me on YouTube and you like what you see, a simple hey, I just wanted to let you know I saw you. I watch you on YouTube and I like your videos and stuff. And yeah, I just want to say keep doing your thing. Like, keep talking the truth. Like, they don't say stuff like that because they feel like she just a content creator. And what? She only got what? How many subscribers? I'm like black people will literally clown you for anything. Y'all, she just a content creator doing YouTube videos and stuff. Really think she know what she talking about. Just be saying anything though. Girl, bad. Like, she ain't getting no money though. She ain't got no money. She ain't getting no money. I mean, they literally be like, you ain't getting no money. What's up? LC says, I worked with a 78-year-old black man that said he never heard the N-word. My white folks in the country until he moved to the city and heard it from his own people. You said, oh, I think you're trying to say heard the N-word about white folks in the country until he moved to the city. You know what? And that's what I'm saying. It's like, to be honest, Chicago is very racist. I'm going to be 100 with you. You know, people really be afraid to leave Chicago and go to a rural state, a rural area, you know, because they're afraid of the KKK members. But the real KKK members is here in the city, in Chicago. They here. Real talk. And honestly, if you ask me, majority of them is black people. But they sit here and they try to say, yeah, the white man. Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. Black folks is racist as hell too. They racist. All right, let me do a few more minutes of this.
For music. Are you hearing what I'm saying? The music that we grew up on was music directed toward the fatherless.
Mm-hmm.
Are y'all there? So when I started looking at the problem in Chicago, I was like, this is not a new phenomenon. This is just fatherless boys.
Right.
Who have been given a voice through music or through YouTube or some type of medium to express the anger and anguish of their fatherlessness. They may not be talking about their fathers, but that's where the most anger's deriving from.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all heard what I'm saying? And so the music.
Let's be 100. Some of y'all may not have, had the opportunity to have y'all fathers in y'all life. Me, I'm a prime example as well. My father was not really there. So yes, some of that anger does stem from not having a father a part of your life. Because a lot of us want to know how it feels to have a father. Real talk, my husband too. He been without his father. His father stepped in, maybe for a couple years or whatever, and then was gone. But let's be honest, like, we do want to know how it feels to have both of our parents. Like, we didn't ask to be here. And it's just so selfish and it's so sad when us as the children, when we were children, and then the other children that's being raised up now don't have their fathers. And it's really selfish, to be honest. I understand that things do happen, because they do. And I'm not saying that if this man is a horrible person and he is a bad fit for the child, I'm not saying force him to be a part of the child's life, because now I'll keep him away. Like, especially if he out here doing drugs, selling drugs, just really bad, like really all bad, then keep him away. If he touches kids, keep him away. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you got some of these fathers that do want to be a part of their child's life, but they can't have that opportunity because they are into it with the mother of the child. Until they get into these little toxic arguments and altercations, they sleep around with each other on and off and stuff like that. Then they move on and they go get with somebody else, and then they go back to each other, and it's just a back and forth the whole entire time. Meanwhile, the child is right there in the midst of it all, and this child need their parents, man. The problem with what's going on in the black community is co-parenting is pretty much non-existent. We can't even get along with each other enough to be able to co-parent. We just show how much dishonor and disrespect we have for one another, even with the child standing right there. Child standing right there listening to mama and daddy argue all the damn time. Then they watch mommy and daddy go separate ways and they split. Now this child is being raised by his mother. And his mama don't know what to do with the boy. She don't know how to train her son up, because that's a man's job. A man is really supposed to be the one that's training his son up. Potty training and all that. Discipline for sure. But the fact that it's a lot of single mother households, man, that's the problem for real. Yeah, exactly. You said I picked God, they picked guns. Exactly.
Industry that is ran by mainly Jews. Yeah, mainly they run, not mainly, only the ones with the record. You got to go to them to get the deal. They surf the internet and surf these idol shows and look for these guys that got influence. Now, you know, rapping is crap. They're not talking about nothing anymore. The best rap used to come from New York when at least the guy was making some sense. Now it's just chanting and spells, and that's all they doing is chanting. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Doing. So they're not selling rap for words. They're selling it for the spirit that the artist is releasing on the beat. Talk to me. There's a spirit behind it. Now,
and they really fulfilling their flesh, to be honest. You know, doing all these chants and stuff like that, and chanting and yeah, the ops, and with the ops, yeah, we're gonna find the ops and we're gonna make them drop. And it's like the parents, the parents, they are okay with it too. Long as Daquan and Pookie and them bring back some money and they give you money, that's all that matters. Long as they helping to pay your bills, you don't care if your son's out there doing drill rap and end up getting killed behind all of that. You do not care.
Now, if they said that, now listen, I always listen to the person who created something to let them tell me what they meant by their creation.
I'll be honest, my first therapy session.
You feel me? I mean, I'm about to get ready and get off, so it really don't matter. But I mean,
real music, which is Chief Keef and his people.
I'm not really
that
tripping.
One little fat dude. If they telling you that this was called first death music, and it was for hyping yourself up to go kill folk, then that's telling me I ain't got to ask nobody else why these young guys are going out and listening and then mimicking what they're hearing. And we got to connect the dot, y'all.
Yeah.
Black folk connect the dot.
Yeah.
You heard what I'm saying? Now, I don't need them. I don't need to blame them, because I remember when I was growing up, I had my own experience of this kind. I remember when I was growing up, when I first heard.
Facts. Jealous and envy kills black unity. It does. We hate on each other. Just pure hatred coming from the heart is what kills unity for sure. I'm telling you, man. There is no way that we can unite as a black people if we have no love at all in our hearts. That is I feel like that is something that's very important. You know, if you a black gentleman, you run into another black gentleman and he looking you up and down and you looking at him and he looking at you and he just ready to shoot at you because you looking at him, but he was really looking at you and you was trying to figure out why he looking at you, but now he trying to figure out why you looking at him, even though we know what the real issue is. The real problem is he just looking for some ops and he wants you to be one of his ops. Okay. That's the problem. And it's like, this is how they create beef and they create wars. It's never about, it just be over something so stupid. Oh, you bumped into me. Now you one of my ops. But I accidentally bumped into you, bro. I don't mean no harm, bro. Look, I don't want no problems. But they don't care. When you say you don't want no problems, they still believe that you want problems. They show you they show you one of their guns that they got on clipped to their hip. Why don't y'all go be some police officers though? For real. These ninjas that YNs that be out here trying to find the ops and stuff, go be a police officer. Yeah, just do that. Then you all good. Matter of fact, why don't you join the army? Then you good. Instead of you trying to make this young man that's a family man one of your ops, and he ain't even did nothing. It is. You said it's a lack of support also, but jealousy may be number one. honestly, all of that is just pure hatred. It adds up to straight up pure hatred in the heart, man. For real.
Heard the Ghetto Boys. Now for us that was big deal, hardcore rap. And it wasn't the fun songs like My Mind's Playing Tricks on Me. That wasn't the song. But they had a song that was a dance song. The song was called The Mind of a Lunatic. And I remember we got real high and sat in the park and we was broke. We were broke, which adds to the frustration. And we were trying to figure out how to get up on some money. And because I had just got out of camp, I was a drug dealer. I went to camp and got out. And you know, when you get out, you broke. Mm-hmm. And none of my partners won't help you get back. So you had to figure out how I'm going to get back. So the only thing coming to your mind is taking. Because you know we ain't working. So me and my partner sit over in the park and we just listen to that all day and just got high and to the point that it was in us. We got so zooted this where all of a sudden I remember just saying, man, I don't care who it is, if I find anybody. Because the song was like talking about robbing, kicking in doors and robbing and shooting the mother and everybody. Now that's not music. But we got so zooted on it. This is why if you go to LA, then Crips and Bloods tell you that they listen to the music to go drive by first. They got to get high and get out of their mind to go do what they do.
Yep.
It's very difficult to walk up and shoot somebody. You got to get charged or cables put on you. Say, man. So after we listened to this Mind of a Lunatic, and we just had it to where it was, you know, we just, without the music's off, but it's in our heart now. Going insane. I can't keep it quiet. The Mind of a Lunatic, considered psychotic. This is the rap that we rapping. And we saw some guys, man, I ain't gonna tell you what we did, but we did some dirty things to rob them. And after we got finished, it's like, I came to myself like, man, why did we do that? But it was like I had got, this music had put me in some type of atmosphere that it was like, I couldn't hear nothing but go, 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 go. But after we did what we did, it was silent. And I recognized, man, why'd you do it? What's wrong? Why'd you do it? And I didn't understand the power of the suggestion of music. I didn't understand the spiritual side of music. So if I had to call it something, I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't think I'm going to call it that.
But see, that's the thing. That's the problem. It's like these young guys, trust me, I when I used to, as a teenager, you know, or like in my senior year, I used to be around people also that was out here doing that drill music when it first came out. And I watched how it made them change. It made them change. I really used to hang around dudes more than I used to hang around females, you know. And I used to watch them like mimic everything, you know. They mimicked the song that Chief Keef came out with, and they start making sure that they grow their dreads out as well, and so that they can shake their dreads. And then next thing you know, they start chanting, like he said, chanting and stuff like that about killing another person, killing another man, and, you know, killing and killing. That's all they cared about. They just want to have dreadlocks, just like Chief Keef. They want to be like him. This is the thing, because I remember that era, and when once upon a time, 13 years ago, once he came out with that song, I promise you after that, all these YNs out here started having dreads and stuff like that. And then they started getting racially profiled by the police, because the police started to believe that every young black man with dreadlocks, you know, is just another Chief Keef. You ain't got nothing good going for yourself, you know. You just ready to start some wars and start a drama or whatnot, you know, start chaos and wars and stuff like that. You said children in black communities need better education. I mean, a lot of people keep saying it. They keep saying education. I don't feel like it's the education. You know, I feel like it's the parenting. It starts in the home. It starts in the home. That's all it is. It's the parenting. If the parenting would get better, then, you know, people wouldn't have to look forward to the education system raising up the children. Because honestly, if you ask me, the parenting is so bad that people look forward to their kids going to school so that the education system can raise their children. That's why people always be like, I just feel like black children need more education. They do got the education here. They got education, but they don't care because their parents don't care. That's the thing. They don't care. But you know, I just want to say this. Look, we came this far. We almost at the 3-hour mark. There's a few things I want to say. I don't want to be negative or anything. I just wanted to give my take on why black unity is pretty much dead. We are in the end of days. And if we can't have love in our heart and fix ourselves, then come together, then I don't know what the heck we gonna do. Seriously. If people don't get it through their thick skulls that in order to unite as a people, we must unite when we get ourselves together first, then have love in our hearts. Get ourselves together, have love in our hearts, then unite. If people can't understand that, then I mean, why would we wait until there's tragedy though to unite? Why do we always wait until there's another race being racist towards us to unite? And then when we do unite, it's only for a couple days and then we back at the hate again. In order to unite, we gotta have common sense, and we gotta know that common sense is common sense. For real. People don't even have common sense. They lack common sense and they just feel like it is what it is. Nobody else got common sense, so I don't got it either. Nobody else got love in their heart, so I don't either. I got hate in my heart too. That's the problem. Too much pride. But I just want to say this.
The Chicago, nigga.